Welcome, guys, gals, for another episode of Underground Science. Okay. I think the music might take away from what I'm doing. I'm not sure yet. No offense to any of the music I played, just maybe it's a little distracting. Unclear. I'm gonna keep doing it for now. So, last episode I was talking about this area, and I mistakenly interpreted like up here to be this. Like it looked like it had that feature going on, but I might just be seeing things because it's so subtle. So I decided to do my best to do this. So let's just I tried really, it's not very easy to overlay these two, but this is the best thing I've got to see them simultaneously is to actually do it. And I tried, basically I did as large of areas as I could keep it as like a flat surface. The larger it was, the more they became difficult to overlay. Like if it's a small enough area, it can be overlaid pretty easily, but because it's two different softwares, it's hard to overlay the larger areas. Anyway, so I'll come back in here, I guess. So of interest is this thing, like here. So we can kind of see it in the terrain behind it. It's not exact. And then that arm over here that may or may not continue in here. It looks like it may generally stop abutting the Himalayas in that region, or this where it starts to become the Himalayas. And then there's this here. So we can see that in the terrain pretty well, even generally starting back here. Other things we can see right here has this like bending to the magnetic anomaly map. Over here we've got I think these are generally appropriate. Let's see. They might be a little out of balance because of the distance from center. The more, like if I center something on both of them, then that area is pretty good. But around like this distance, over here, it's almost at the edge. So it's a little tricky. So if I go here, 74, or 74, where did I even get that? Oh, I see it now, I guess. 95.5, 27.67, 94, 95, 95.5. So 95.5 is like this boundary, and then what did I say? 27.45. So basically there, yeah. So this region is actually generally in line with this region, and then above it is this region. So that's even pretty well in line here. So this thing here is pretty well in line. Interestingly, up here is Tarim Basin, and when we see this like feature in it, and we can start to see like around the Middle East, I guess, this feature, like we see this feature in the terrain. Down here, this boundary, we see this feature in the terrain right there. Maybe this general feature, like in that area, for some reason. This feature looks to be in the terrain. And then the mantle puncture hole here is not in the terrain, interestingly. But now we can kind of see, though, where that ammonite structure is better. So it starts around here. Here's the Aravelli trend down here. Just checking. Even kind of going around that. Maybe related to that. Okay, let's move on from that, though. Okay, so there's that. And then this goes around. And then around here is where the Himalayas are. So we kind of see a flat face of this white portion here. Definitely a relationship to all of this. So that shows, like, basically, if we go back here real quick and kind of look around, here's the mantle puncture hole region, and then here's the ammonite structure that kind of starts around Gujarat and goes this way. And then questionably something, I kind of just interpret that it loops around, maybe up there even, and generally goes to like these points and like that. So like this region, we're gonna kind of keep an eye on right now. I went in too far. Okay. So we see this band around pretty well here, around here. We even see in the terrain, like something across there. Shoot. And then across here, though, going straight, so where those straight lines are on the map. These that are a little too, like, just projecting out this way. Like the Detroit Red Wings, no, kind of like this, but I was thinking it was more just like directly off it. Something like that. With the ammonite center wrapping around. Like here, around here, and then around. Like that way and back. Around here-ish. Maybe around here. Maybe egg-like looking. But then over here, extending over to like there, is additional interactions with this system that kind of extend a boundary out there. And then it looks like interacts over here in pushing these boundaries, maybe. Okay, so let's go back here. So we're seeing the undercurrents surface like integrally tied to this general range in the terrain, so I would say it's highly related again. I was thinking if these really are truly undercurrents or they just kind of reach the depths and influence through the levels of the entire, basically reach the base of the crust and influence throughout the depth of the crust, so that it's not per se undercurrents as much as through currents and over and undercurrents, with like some amount of undercurrent maybe, but not only, or much more through current than I'm realizing, so that there's like collisions of like currents that are flowing at somewhat different levels that then produce mounds kind of things. Like this seems related to the undercurrent structure. Okay, so we kind of see it over here, even this. It looks pretty good. Like there's something there, and it kind of points to, I guess, a flow out from here that goes like that and wraps off that way with like a escape velocity side, and the rest stays within it. Or some portion stays within it. Maybe here. And this portion like goes out that way. Okay, that's one. I made several of these. So now we're gonna go north a little bit. This one I realized it was a little nicer to like fade in to the magnetic anomaly map and then fade out and just like go back and forth. So that's what we're doing here. Below me is that position at the end of the Himalayas. A little out of position here. It should be a little further over, but the rest of the map is more in line. Okay, so I'll just go down there. So here's that thing again. Here, then we can see this real clean. This one's what I hinged it off this time. The previous one was kind of hinged off of the larger ammonite structure. Okay, so this goes out. This time we can see this going out and then kind of running into a resistance. Oops. Where it like doesn't continue having this batholith structure like it does, but it phases out at that point, which is essentially at the boundary of the Caspian Lake Sea, Lake Caspian Sea. Just making sure. Yeah, Caspian Sea. So here, this like under batholith kind of ends. Maybe like goes up into this terrain actually. Continues here, but by going up after running into resistance, I don't know. Like ramps up and is below it is relatively void in space for current to flow, but above it is this lifted terrain, maybe? Also, the Valley of Balls is in Shepti, this place, which is in my spheres video, definitely of interest. So that Valley of Balls is here. Here's this other one. So there's this one, and then there's another one that goes through the Valley of Balls. Even has this little thing there, maybe, in the magnetic anomaly map. Like there was a basin for currents to eddy within and creating the Valley of Balls, because that's how spheres are made, by eddies that are like trapped current flows that wrap around and create like an actual nucleus in some instances within the right circumstances. So maybe it looks like right here it really ran into resistance, whatever, like another current coming this way ran into whatever was kind of encouraging this that way, like a current wrapping around here. Current, maybe a current going, I was thinking over this way or something, like around here as well. So like a current generally going through here that's along its boundaries, compacting this mound, but it can't compact the mound further because there's a current that actually is able to like overwhelm its influence. So that's where this suddenly at the edge of the Caspian Sea. I'm not sure why the Caspian Sea formed like this. Maybe up here is the shallow end, intermediary end depth wise, and then deep end. It's like 3 energy levels connected in a very battery-like way, I feel. Okay, so then let's keep going. That's going on over there. So we got that pretty good here. Let's find something. Tarim Basin. Here is Tarim Basin, and then as we see, like how this side of it is filled with like dense material, some compacted material. The top half, the void, I really like looked around and pinpointed locations, some better than others. This one pretty good, where like this is pretty much where it is on the Google Maps. It's a little off on some things, like this lake I think is like right there, but it was so close. I was like, all right, like up here we can kind of see them. If I circle this structure here, it's gonna circle that structure there. This structure, there's that structure out a little further out there, but it also, I see it in the magnetic anomaly map now, like going out further over here. That one actually is in position, but it's just looks like that underneath. But Tarim Basin has this divide, very interesting. I also had to piecemeal the magnetic anomaly map, like it's one main map with a couple of like slices of other maps. Let's see what else we got. So Tarim Basin goes into like along this way over here. So we see this like down to here. Connected to the Tarim Basin through there. This void region where this kind of feature is. This, we can see that. Even with like things going across there. Can even see kind of how that is on top on the surface. It looks kind of like it Although, so does over here. Okay, what else we got? Is that this map? I mean, we pretty much covered everything on it. I think down here was a little less optimal, but I basically was just trying to cover things that I hadn't already or didn't get quite as well. So that's Tarim Basin. Then I went to what I called Kazakhstan, because it's generally Kazakhstan that we're adding to the map. So down here we still see Tarim Basin. Maybe I'll go this place. Is probably not as exciting. So we still see Tarim Basin stuff going on down here. This and this. Then out here, don't see that really. But we do see like a roundedness around here. Generally back to there. This is an interesting relationship to Caspian Sea. Also, this region, like it's right now, I think it's the Aral Sea or something that's drying out. But it probably was much more like this. It's probably just drained out. It went out this way. It was so close to this outlet that it could, like, water from this region was more able to just go through around this, which is probably more exactly below that, maybe. I don't know. Or related enough, and then down along it and out into, let's see if that makes sense. Maybe even into the Himalayas. Like, there's definitely a current that went generally this way because of this arc. Like, there's a pressure this way. If there wasn't a pressure this way, I mean, this thing, I guess there's this. That's here, which is probably wrapping like that and putting pressure that way. And up into there, extending it kind of up there to second, almost like a second orbital, electron orbital, and then a third or so. I don't know. But extending the interaction between this eddy and the current coming from over here. Sorry guys if you don't know what I'm talking about. This is episode 3 out of 4. There's a lot. I'd say at least start at 290 or something like that in the land of shallograms to really even catch up somewhat to what I'm talking about. It's certainly not going to make much sense even then relative to more information, but so be it. But seems to be an eddy flowing here that I mean could be going this way or could be going this way. I think I determined that it kind of needs to be, something needs to be pushing against this, like this way. Maybe there's one here on this side of the Hershey Kiss thing, and then another opposite. That's kind of centered here. Or maybe centered over here or something. Where there's like a, I guess here, involving here, so like here. Current, or if current's coming through this way and going off this way, then that would encourage an eddy this way. And then going off this way would encourage an eddy this way. So I guess it's going this way. Although, if it's going that way, I feel like it would join it here. If it's going this way, maybe it would form more of this kind of boundary. And then the current goes straight through, but also is forced to bend this way. So it's going probably this way. I'm not sure why it's doing this. Like there's gotta be a pressure. Maybe even by going this way, it squeezes like a channel down here to here. That does like a shallogram. Pushes out boundaries at like a wave type, like an eddy. Like maybe an eddy that went down that way. Oh yeah. Right here, which would then have had one going this way. I don't know why. Maybe it's like a wave that goes this way and then comes back to some point over there. And then they kind of converged around here. And then separated from around this point, going through that way, and then going off this way. Or going in the opposite directions, actually. Going the opposite directions. That's what happens in shallograms. We've definitely found shallograms doing that. Although, okay, before I get too distracted on that possibility, like it may be that this lake or sea I don't even know if I can find its name anymore. That would help. I think that's the one drying up. It might be this one though. Yeah, there, yeah, here I'll see. Okay, just making sure. Like if we kind of look around, do we see any signs of a sort of nucleus around which currents swirled. Current's going this way, wrapping around here. This current's coming in. Let's do it. Let's do it. Just get an idea. Let's say coming in this way. Maybe that way, essentially. And then that way. And then dividing like this way. Just thinking maybe a current came in at this corner, across this way. I mean, I really, let's go to red. This current, I feel like a current went like this. Over here, over here. That's right, that's right. That's right. So we got this current going this way. And this current going that way. Which then, let's go with some other color. Fuchsia. Okay. Which then causes this current to go off this way. And then I guess it kind of runs into resistance, gets forced down this way, but also like wraps around in kind of shallogram ammonite ways that then presses against there and goes something like that. So going this way, running, it must have ran into some kind of resistance around here. Okay, so that gives me the impression that let's go back before I go say anything. I'm just trying to figure out which way. There's definitely both ways, currents going both ways here. Essentially, current comes off this way, goes up this way, goes that way, around. Where current over here is going this way above of this, and then essentially current wrapping back around is holding this boundary by going this way and up here and kind of holding the boundary while another current goes this way. So there's two currents here in the below the Mediterranean, but then that, which is here, here's Italy, I believe. The Strait of Gibraltar, there's Turkey, end of the Mediterranean. So really the channels are below Africa up until about the end of the Mediterranean. Although maybe they get across here and can interact sooner. I'm not sure. That seems more likely to be coming this way, though. Oh yeah, there's all this. So there must be a current like this one below it. An outlet here, an inlet here. Then went around this way, went across this way, around back over here to like anything on this side flowing generally this way, but this top portion flowing across this way. This even kind of like points at that. And looks like it really, like this shape, and then same thing. So there's a current pushing over here that's like pressing into this region. Around here, pressing into it. Kind of creating outward ripples around it in the terrain. Probably swirling generally. And then going through. Maybe swirling and going like up in here. Like pushing into this. As like one of the pressure points or multiple pressure points to brace for the current to like extend further up. It needs to brace in order to extend. So it braces, extends, braces, extends. And manages to make it further, but it looks like it went this way. And I guess went over there. Over there, maybe? Maybe it went this way. And then, like, fanned out, though. Influence through this region. There. It's hard to say when the Earth had yet to expand what is exactly in a line. Because we got a current flowing this way, which I think goes down here and holds this boundary and maybe interacts over here. And then this one, I guess this one goes to there. So we don't really need another current, although maybe it's going the other way. I don't know if I have a saved like image of my interpretation of what happened here. I think it went, like I literally mapped it. That's right, I mapped it going here into here. So it came out here. That's right, I mapped it coming out here. Running into resistance from over here. So that it then went up this way. And then ran into some other resistance is what I interpreted, and like went up around this bend basically, and then ended up going around here, going like that, where then it joined this flow going that way, but it circled here a bit also, maybe, or maybe not even. Maybe it went down this way and then went over and joined this current. Like it just, they went down, over, ran into the resistance of it all and like tried to avoid it initially and then wrapped around, creating this region, creating this side of the plateau. So, basically filling this pressure so that current then would flow this way. That then also probably just flowed through here, like maybe even entirely with this as kind of a backstop. Like once it filled the pressure over here, current couldn't just flow over into this region, so it was more able to etch through the resistance here that was between the continents and really open the gap. So there's definitely a current coming out this way and going down that way and going up this way and wrapping around. So maybe right here there's a current coming in that way, but here it's going out, I believe. I believe it's going out there. And maybe there's cross currents from over here like running into it that kind of bounce off it, but like the main current's coming out here. Okay. Although it looks like it does possibly just go right back in there. This really suggests it's coming out there. For the reasons I just said. Okay, let's move on. I don't know. Let's look at this real quick. Trying to map the currents is a little tricky when there's just so much. It's so much. So much to account for. Because essentially I want to be like correct in my interpretation. I'm not just doing this for like likes and views. Like, please give me attention. Although people are like, well, they just want attention. Like, oh my god. So some things I notice here. Here's this. This is kind of there more so, I think, where that is. up, but generally we got a good like boundary for where that is, that thing. Over here we see these underneath there on the surface, the Google Maps ones. At some point I realized I needed to add some more time on the map one, unless yeah. Can't really see the map, sorry, and I can't like click it and pause it for some reason. There must be some way to like pause it. So what do we see? We see this is interesting. This spot, it looks like there's things radiating out from it, kind of like over here, and Tarim Basin here, and then here with this spot here, which is interesting in that it is positionally at this point where this like arc goes through this larger like shallogram structure, kind of at the middle, like over here, like over at Tarim Basin on the here. There's this kind of intermediary arc, and there it like points right at that, which is then this like emanation point from which this arc over here spawns, and then currents that go up that way pretty straight, and then over that way it looks like possibly involved in that terrain. I don't know. I mean, it must be, but it's just not like directly as much like this. I don't see whatsoever. I believe this kind of goes more up towards that lake, like to the left, like over here. Oh Lord. Okay, this here. Let's see, nothing apparent. Although, like that lobe that goes here. Maybe it goes up there too. Definitely goes there. I'm not sure if that's this one. Yeah, that one's good. Okay. Yeah. Okay, there's its boundaries. So that's got some kind of region where the Tarim Basin connects through over there. That looks pretty much like it might be where that sand is. Let's see. "45 north, 88 east." 45, 88. 88, 45 then. So we were saying it might be... there. Okay. There. Okay, there's 40. It's pretty much there. 45 is there. 88. Just looks like a little basin for things to like compile of that nature, like sand, like kind of like over here too. Over here, so there's lots of those that were really getting etched out, like big basins that then got filled with like subtle broken apart components that aren't like all compacted, and then somewhat got compacted, but they're not the same as like mountains. Like maybe this drained over through here, through here, through here, through here, through here, and That's a good time frame. That's a good time frame. So maybe it drained out this way, this way, this way, this way. The Sickhawk Allen, I don't know how to say it, the mountain range here. This mountain range. There we go. Counterclockwise, that's what I was trying to find. Late Cretaceous. Paleomagnetic declination indicates that this block has rotated counterclockwise by 41 plus or minus 16 degrees between 66 million and 50 million radiometric dating, interpreting late Cretaceous as the end of the Cretaceous, pretty much. Rotation recorded extends westward into the interior of the Mongolia block. The eastern margin of the Asian continent experienced both counterclockwise rotation of the eastern part of the Mongolia block and clockwise rotation of the eastern part of the North China block over the Cretaceous. So let's say there's a current flowing generally from here, over here, over here to here. It would basically cause a rotation if it's like pressuring, especially like right here, like pressuring on the Sickhawk mountain range, like it would contribute to rotation. So I'm wondering if then it branches off as well over here and then like does the same from like over here, relating to this arc region, like a dominant recessive current, dominant recurrent coming out of here, dominant current coming out goes more of a jet stream across to here and then swirls at the boundary, like it runs into resistance and goes up and down and etches a boundary and opens space and pushes this like material out. But then the recessive current gets bent off this way, goes over here, down this way, and maybe goes down here too. And like splits around a pressure that's pushing in here that seems related there or something. Not sure about that part. Maybe just by the shape. But there's definitely a current coming this way. Around, that goes to here, and then also to here, that goes like through here. Up like there. So let's see where the North China block is, if it's this. It's gotta be this one. It's gotta be this. Like, it can't be this. So it's gotta be this. Which would make sense then, because of the current. And probably significantly less. Let's see if they say. was hoping I could just find something. There we go. Up that way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that says present. Pardon me. Late Cretaceous. Things going up. And then a little more in. But something like going out through it, I guess. Let's see what B says. B. Oh. Clockwise rotation area extends from the Korean peninsula to its root in the North China Block. So here's the North China Block. Okay. North China Block is actually like here. Okay. So this region saw clockwise rotation, which still fits. I mean, it's a little closer than I would expect. But with a current going out this way, is that... I'm not sure that that's... the drainage is playing that much of a role. Maybe in making Japan. But probably not in the late Cretaceous stuff of rotation here. That's probably more current coming across here. Maybe like generally that way and wrapping around. Isn't this... I feel like that's a copyrighted song. I don't even know what... I don't know. Every breath you take. Okay, let's keep going. I'm already an hour in. I got one more, so that's okay. Lots of the like reindeer features that in here. Try to find Rudolph. Like that's his nose. That's his eyeball. So his ear, Rudolph's ear is this thing. I was just kind of curious what the terrain looked like. Okay, let's go on. This is the last one I made. Last one I made. Okay, so it's a little more, maybe a little more rushed, but I think it's pretty good. And we got this feature. That's kind of what I hinged it off of. And then we got this. So we can kind of see that there, although maybe I'm not, it's hard to say if I did it inaccurately or if it actually is over there. Sometimes it actually is like Tarim Basin, not centered. This I know I checked. I don't know if I checked like right there, this region, but I think I checked right there. This spot was good here. Right there was good. So it wasn't actually in line. I remember that with this boundary here. Then up here we see this region. That's kind of interesting. That's what it looks like below. Below, above. This has a bunch of just currents coming out. It's like a railroad track with like several split things at it. Even fractal, large, small ones, not just like the same size trains, but like miniature trains. Like this size train with so we kind of see something there where that point is. That's where that like nucleus that this is around is, and then above it is this like jet stream looking thing. Looks kind of like the gamma ray burst type things that we've been seeing come out of the poles of things emitting eruptive energies because of the current flows that are just like being compacted on them, which then emit these like beams. So we can kind of see like this terrain is related to it in a sort of shallogram way towards that point. Maybe not the magnetic anomaly map so much, but the surface is very shallogram like above that point. Just on that side, I mean, not, and just in general, but like just the way it has two like tooth-like motions down to a chakra and then back up. It doesn't just like go past it, it bends off of it. Let's look at it more directly now. Oh yeah, holy, you can totally see a shallogram feature there. And then over there, even with the little like circular feature and an interior one. Maybe even a current line across it. But then it like, here's the Siberian Craton, so whatever it was doing, it looks like it was interacting this way from this nucleus here. Right, that is where it was, right? Yeah. Like, it's gotta be related to the shallogram feature that those are there. Maybe there's some kind of big old pumpkin looking shallogram here that has like eruptions out the pole all the way from over here though that are running into the Siberian traps and the Siberian Craton, and more so getting deflected this way, but channeling through here. I don't know why they would just stop. It's like a guitar. I don't know where the neck is. Next through the portal. Whoa, it's kind of good. I like it inside of a larger guitar, even. Nice. Maybe it has a portal somewhere where the neck is through. Over here or something. Sure, why not? Yeah, let's go with it. Knock through the portal over here. There's the neck. But what might be happening here? Like, there's definitely a Shalagram feature there. Shalagram features here. So pretty much it's current flows that are in eddies that then connect to one another. These ones are connected. These ones are separated. But these are connected. Like this, there was resistance between these here. Although maybe they connected like up here. Oh my god, it looks like a fucking mushroom cloud, honestly. Oh, you guys hear that news? Freaking. Not just this too. Pretty much talking about whatever Zelensky said about nukes. They've just been talking about nukes a lot recently. It totally has that kind of mushroom. This is Kazakhstan, where like this goes. Maybe it came in this way. Like in here, ran into a current flowing across this way. Or flowing out this way. Yeah, there's currents flowing out this way, and then there's a current flowing in this way. It runs into it, wraps around here. Branches off a bit secondary and over here, I guess, and over there. But it ends up forming this region where it can kind of focus a channel over here to that boundary and over here to that boundary to put out like pressure points, which it then drills into the Kali Gandaki Valley and like supports the Himalayas. Maybe from that current then. But then it also goes across fully But maybe it goes more so across fully, not like through the Hershey Kiss thing. I was thinking like through here, but this is really like a really funneling out of this region, almost at this boundary, whereas over here is fanning out. Like this is maybe like more like a chakra than a that has like a base down here. I feel like this is copyrighted. Then it looks like it actually like ran into resistance. Or just went straight. Maybe this was straight at the time. Going this way. And then flowed out. Some of which went over here. And through while I was opening this path. Maybe. But largely down through here. Possibly out and then over and then across here because of this. That'd be interesting. Like all the Amazon, Congo, I don't know what to make of those terrains. They must have just had less turbulent, more laminar water, like more like a basin holding water than other regions where it's really turbulent, etching the surface and depositing all sorts of material wherever there and there. It just didn't really seem to get like quite as influenced. Maybe the rainforests are just making it look that way, but like, I don't know even know what the earth looks like really below this. May just be rainforest hiding it all. Like, oh my god, we're finally seeing trees. It just looks like a mat. Incredible. Okay, let's find somewhere like here. It's maybe not much different. Just more rain. I don't know if that actually makes any sense. Obviously, this is desert and this is a rainforest. Just thinking, like, the same general base starting point could diverge so greatly that it becomes a desert, like rolling sand dunes, and another becomes a rainforest. Almost like positive, negative. Big old desert, smaller rainforest. And then maybe the inverse. Big old rainforest, smaller desert. I don't know. Okay, this is long enough, I guess. Yeah, fuck, I don't want to just stop. That's really... like that. This going up here. So it's like a current's going this way and another current's going this way. We have current going down this way that then wraps over here, goes this way, and then branches also branches off this way, as well as current coming out here going this way and around, but also branching off maybe across, interacting here maybe even, because it's not that strong of a current that it just created that maybe, but feeding ultimately up into here, as well as currents from North America that are swirling, some of them getting out over there, I guess, generally speaking, and then what doesn't go on to North America going that way, feeding over here, going down there, so it must have then fanned out. Across there, cross to there, or whatever it was that I measured before, to there. And then I guess another across there. Something is running into it though. This one going across this way. Basically the same current coming off of here goes this way and up here, and then reconverges by crossing this way and this way. Maybe even arcing around like that. Arcing. Maybe I could map it all on a 2D map. Google Earth 2D, whatever, not the globe. Google Maps, I don't know, something without the globe, but with enough detail that I can actually draw lines over top it pretty well. Okay, well, I'll see you guys later. I'm done for now. Alright, peace out.